Let's talk about some lyrical lessons we can take from this song.
I think about you a lot. Wish I could undo a lot.
So the hook is simple, minimal, easy to sing along with, but I don't think that's what's actually making this section special to me. I think it's the patterns that they chose to follow in the hook. And it's all built around the word a lot. So the first couple lines have a thought that ends with the word a lot. The second line has a thought, ends with the word a lot, and then they have some lyrical variation to kind of break up the repetitiveness. So if you've ever been stuck on a hook, this is a great structure to follow. For example, it goes, I think about you a lot, wish I could undo a lot. I figured by now these damn I miss you kind of thoughts would stop. And then it starts over again and it goes back into the next set of lyrics that end with the word a lot. So it's two lines. The first line ends with a lot, the second line ends with a lot, and then we break up the pattern with something that still rhymes with a lot but isn't the word a lot. And that's how you avoid driving a word or a concept into the ground until people hate it, by breaking up the pattern. Create more lyrical depth in the verses with your personal testimony. So in the second verse, he says, back in Austin, we were lost in each other's eyes at South by, we were talking. Couldn't hear you through the music, but I read your lips. He gave us details, locations, senses, like just by simply saying back in Austin, it automatically made my head go, the sun is out, it's hot outside. Okay, because it is hot in Texas. All right, back in Austin at South by, now I picture a crowd. Okay, it's crazy out here. It's bonkers. We're at a festival. And then he says, I couldn't hear you through the music, but I read your lips. We all know what that's like. You know what I mean? If you've been to a concert or just like a loud space, you know what that's like. But to be having the emotions that he says he's going through, like missing someone, wanting to text them, wanting to just get through, I just feel immersed. I feel immersed in the emotion in the concept of the song. The next thing I wanted to point out is the very first line in the very first verse. When I'm writing a song, I do think that can be one of the more important lines that you have. It's the very first thing that we hear. It sets the entire tone for the song, and depending on how much energy you put on the first line, it could give your listener like a glimpse or a snapshot of what the rest of the song is about, what's the emotion behind the song. And the very first thing he says is, I wish I knew the last time was the last time. And immediately that makes you want to be like, well, what happened? You know? So I think that's a great mindset to approach your first line in your lyric writing. The very first line in your first verse is, what do you want the audience to know? I think that's a great one-liner. I wish I knew the last time was the last time. And now we know that he's about to go on this emotional journey of love and regret and missing someone. The last thing I want to talk about is the post hook. It's not complex at all. It's almost nursery rhyme-like in the best way possible. Once again, it has singability and it's really hard to forget. It's that easy. And I love it. That's it. So the next time you're songwriting, think about adding singable melodies, personal testimonies to your verses, and nailing the very first line of that first verse.